What's up, guys? Farooqi Bros here, back with another Built Different stream. Rather, we're back with the Built Different stream after a short hiatus away. But it's a packed show, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about from DC to Marvel, and of course, a fun debate regarding a recent release. But let's just go right into it. I actually wanted to start off with The Flash and talk about some of the recent leaks that have been dropped, some set visit leaks. Basically, the film is currently shooting, right? So it's been going along. It's about midway through its shooting cycle. So what we're seeing now are a lot more photos and set designs of various things. I could share with you guys, but there's always there's always a little bit of risk of copyright, so I might just describe a couple of them to you. But there is one video that's going around that shows, spoiler alert, I guess set visit spoiler. Some people don't want to know, but I'll spoiler alert right now. But there's a part of a set video that shows Ezra Miller in his new attire from the Flash movie, speaking to another Barry Allen from the same DCEU timeline, but from Justice League, basically, like that haircut. And basically, the two of them are just they're seeing each other, basically, and that's kind of another indication of where they're going with the movie and so forth. And there's another picture of Sasha Calle as Supergirl, and then a fresh shot of Michael Keaton's Batmobile showing up. But it also, this comes along with a secondary leak that showed up on Reddit. And again, always take it with a grain of spoiler, but we're just going to talk about it to have some fun and keep it light. But there's some rumors that, obviously that this movie might change the course of DC going forward, which it will, but what movies it erases, what movies it keeps, what the new timeline will look like, I thought would have been an interesting conversation for the four of us to have. Basically, one of the leaks, unconfirmed, say that basically BVS and Justice League won't be making it. So Umar's favorite two movies won't be making it in the new DCEU. While what happens, Jan? Already first live, we can't keep it straight.
You said his two favorite movies. He's not gonna make it. I feel bad for him.
You feel bad for him? All right, Umar, we feel bad for you. I mean, I don't, but I feel bad for you a little bit.
I really love those movies. What are they?
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot what you even said.
I don't know. Either way. The new timeline will basically kind of somewhat erase Ben Affleck's version of Batman out of the DCEU in favor of Michael Keaton taking on that role, which I know, again, Umar's favorite Batman, so it just makes perfect sense. So, I mean, Umar, I'm going to start with you because you're in a good mood, it seems, so I'll just go with you in this one. What do you make of the new Flash set leaks and kind of what the new DCEU timeline might end up looking like?
I don't make anything of it. I don't know why Zion keeps laughing. I just want to know why Zion's laughing.
I want to know too. Just talk, Zion. What's the issue now?
Just tell us why you're laughing first. Then we can get all the laughs out of the way.
It's nothing. It's nothing. You can keep going. Keep going with your point.
Okay. I don't make a lot of it because there isn't a lot about it that's like very like something new. Like we knew that this was the way they were gonna go with this film. That they were gonna basically soft reboot the entire universe, and so there's nothing new. It's not really new information as far as like the information itself is just I mean, replacing an old, Ben Affleck's Batman's pretty old too, but replacing his Batman with a Batman that's 100 years older than him, I'm not a fan of that. I think that's a mistake, and I think that people would enjoy seeing the Batman kind of in his maybe not in his prime, but like seeing a Batman that's still doing his thing. I think Michael Keaton's Batman, with his age, like I don't know how they're gonna actually like use him in the suit and stuff. And like if he's just like there in the background, then that's stupid as well. I just think it's not a vision that gets me excited too much. I think, again, like I said before on previous stream, I think that this movie's going to suffer from juggling a lot of different things. And I think even just the two Batmans, like trying to get one out and then put an older version back in and make him like, kind of relevant and whatnot, I think they're going to struggle.
I mean, Zion, when you talk about these new leaks, and I think Umar made this point before, where it's like this movie could be good or it could be just steamingly bad. So where do you kind of stand on that? We've covered this movie a few times, but when it comes to these kind of things, where do you sit on it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt, especially that the leaks from like Reddit. as far as like the set photos, you see the two Barry Allens standing next to each other. Clearly, they're trying and attempting a lot of things, and time travel will obviously be a huge part of this. How else can there be two Barrys next to each other? So story-wise, let's see where they go. Like Umar said, they are throwing so much into this film, from Supergirl to Michael Keaton's Batman to who knows what else, that will they be able to handle and juggle all these things fairly and give everything like their fair screen time, so it doesn't feel like at the end of the movie where it's like, oh yeah, you just got taste of everything, but not enough to make it worthwhile. Everybody has to have their like fair shot. So we'll see how they handle all of those things. It won't get too crazy or too messy. As far as the timeline being reset and like BVS and Justice League, whether it's a theatrical or Zack Snyder's version, neither of them counting in the universe. I would be surprised to see how they would address that, because what would they say or do specifically to show that this never happened? I feel like that would be just like really a waste of screen time, a waste of script, to just waste time basically away from all the other stuff you have in the film to just address it. Oh yeah, these two films out of like the 10 others, they don't count for some apparent reason. I feel like that's just a dumb move overall, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did that, because obviously, as you know, Flashpoint does entail changes to the universe, to the multiverse, and we're already going to see that with Batman being changed and things of that nature. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but I just feel like it's a dumb move to waste the limited screen time you already have just to address that, okay, these other films, now they don't count. You know, it's like, focus on this movie, focus on, obviously, the big changes like Batman and the introduction of Supergirl, but don't spend too much time addressing the old movies and whether they count or not.
I think for many people, this movie is kind of like Walter Hamada's like introduction to his version of the DCEU, and what he wants to do with the universe will really be enacted starting with this movie. And sometimes I feel like, some of the decisions kind of feel kind of off to me. At the same time, I see why or how the general audience might hook to certain elements of this movie. But at the same time, it just feels a little messy. And we're going to get into this with our following topic, because Loki also kind of ushered in the multiverse of the MCU. And this movie is supposed to do that for DC. And it's just like, I don't know, like, and it's coming from someone who actually prefers DC characters and DC stories and DC mythology over Marvel's. But objectively, when you just look at the way Marvel's been executing things, even in Phase 4, it's just basically kicking the ass of DC every single time. And when you look at even Loki versus The Flash, it's not really close of like what looks like from far execution. Of course, Flash can change things when you see it and see if like they're going to execute it right, because it's a little early. But everything so far hasn't been something that inspires confidence in myself or even in fans as a whole. So that's kind of one of the things that stood out to me. So when I see these set leaks, I don't really feel anything, which is similar to what Umar said in the beginning, where it's like, okay, I got it. But yet I wanted to start the conversation with this topic for the same reason, because why are we feeling that way? Because any other kind of set visit or a set leak of a highly anticipated movie, let's say the Batman, if we showed a picture of the Batman standing with his Batmobile, we covered that and we were like, okay, here's what it can do. And here we're talking about it, and it's like there's a lack of excitement in our voices. So that's also kind of something that, I don't know, I find interesting. Samir, do you have any discernible opinion on this?
I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see where Man of Steel would fit into all this, if they're taking out BVS and Justice League, but still keeping Man of Steel and Henry Cavill Superman, since it seems like they won't be moving forward with Henry Cavill in the role of Superman. So seeing where they go with that would be interesting, I think.
I thought it was pretty interesting also that leak suggested Man of Steel still in the universe, but we don't know when Henry Cavill is going to show up. I mean, there's a possibility, of course, that Shazam, the second Shazam film, is a spot that's very much open for him. And of course, Black Adam, a lot of people have been rumoring it for who knows how long. And that's also a Danny Garcia production, which is the same agent that runs Cavill's whole career. So yeah, when it comes to Superman, we already know what they want to do with the solo films. They want to create, the Black Superman and take him in a different direction. But like we discussed during that video, that Superman will be in a completely different universe, apart from everyone, including apart from Matt Reeves' Batman. So technically, they don't have a Superman in the DCEU, and they don't have the resource where they can just go pick up a 90-year-old Michael Keaton. You can't, revive Christopher Reeve as much as they want to do that for the new DCEU. So what they're going to do is they're going to just keep Henry Cavill in the closet, and then when they need him, they'll take him out. And they're like, all right, now you can play Superman for 2 minutes. Like, come here, go smile, and then go away. But he's never getting a solo movie. Like that's for sure. As much as Umar wants one, but do you want Umar, or is the ship sailed? I think you're muted. You're muted.
I actually don't think that a Superman like what we're getting with the Batman, right? With Reeves the Batman. Like, I'm looking forward to that because you can tell that it's going to be done in a very particular way. Okay, and I think that vision is kind of exciting. I actually don't see a Superman movie that can be done that's really going to excite me in the same way. I actually don't. Like, I don't see a Superman. Like, it would be cool to see him again, but like, I don't know what his arc would be. Like, who would he fight? Like, who would the villain be? I just feel like it would lay flat a bit, and I think Warner Brothers knows this. Like, I don't think it's just about like, background. So I think that they know that like they don't really have a place right now to put him in. So they could have actually easily put him in this one if they took out the whole Supergirl thing, but they wanted to go. It's good she's getting a shot. Like, I want to see that. I want to see what they do with that, but I just think they don't have a place for him.
I'm unmuted. Yeah, I think that's pretty much well said. Overall, I mean, I think that's about what we can do. I mean, Spencer in the comments said that I can do without Superman in the DCU. I'm not a fan anyhow, so some people are still a little all over the place when it comes to this. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Aren't you the resident Superman fan? Why don't you tell us your opinion on this?
My opinion.
Even Superman fans don't like Superman.
That's what they say, right? It is almost true. But for me, I feel like the smartest choice is to keep Henry Cavill part of the universe. So just even if you're using him as, like they said, a Nick Fury type for multiple cameos, at least you have a Superman present. And I think if they're gearing him up for anything, the only time where they could do something with him that's going to be even remotely valuable will be the Supergirl solo movie. But other than that, there's not much left for him to do unless to make a Justice League movie like a couple of years down the road. But not much confidence there. But yeah, I mean, and it's worth mentioning. It's like the last thing I'm going to say before we kind of leave this topic, that this film will always be one way or another associated with the behind the scenes and the toxicity and things of that nature, the allegations that have been put across the studio. So for many fans, that is very hard to get over still. And for many, they're not going to get over at all. And that's something that's, of course, up to them to feel for. And at the same time, I think it's important knowing that there are, let's call it what it is. There are certain people who've been shunned out of this movie because they tried to call out like abuse of power in Ray Fisher. So I think that's also worth mentioning with this movie. And I think anytime we mention The Flash, I think I'm going to keep in one tether and mention Ray Fisher and that abuse allegation against the studio. But I think it's worth keeping an eye on in terms of how this film is progressing and see how that goes. I think all four of us would probably agree on that. So let's how long we 13 minutes. All right, so yeah, let's transition from this topic to Loki really quickly, because Loki had its season finale, which originally was supposed to be a series finale, but then they surprised fans with a season 2 announcement at the end of the show. So I want to get your thoughts on the season, but also your thoughts on what they're doing with Phase 4, because in many ways, Loki is more important to the rest of Marvel Phase 4 than even WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier was in terms of what it was trying to set up. So twofold question. The first one is, what did you think of the series as a whole? We can just stick there, but I'll make another round later. What did you guys think of the series as a whole, and how does it compare to the previous 2 series? Zion, you can go first. And you guys in the comments also feel free to chime in with what you think about Loki.
Loki overall, I thought it was a good show. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. I didn't find any real fault in it to say that, I can knock it for this, knock it for that, which is obviously prevalent in the other shows in one way or another. I think from the 3, this was the strongest show, and obviously has the most implications on the wider MCU than even WandaVision had, or Falcon and Winter Soldier had. I feel like those shows, they're more self-contained. Obviously, they're like one-off series, and now this is going to season 2. So you can tell that obviously they're there was a lot more potential in the show to begin with. It's a strong concept of them jumping around the two characters, Sylvie and Loki, and they're like what they're doing in the timeline or how they're affecting the timeline. So just concept wise, it's smart that they chose to keep going with this instead of just cutting it short. As far as like WandaVision, you talk about, a lot of people say WandaVision is the best one, which, yeah, it had a strong start, it had a strong midpoint, but at the end just like completely collapsed and like fell apart, in my opinion at least. And Falcon with Soldier, it was a good show. It felt more like a long movie where some like maybe the couple of episodes in between felt like they were just there as filler almost, like they didn't have any real purpose to the show or didn't really push it forward in any real way as far as the story was concerned of the show. So I felt like that kind of hindered it a little bit. But from this show, I felt like each episode progressed the right way and the story continued the right way, and the characters, they grew and got better as the show went along. So that all feeds into why I felt like Loki was the best of the three shows.
Umar, what did you make of Loki? I mean, and the same thing. Number one, what did you think of the show? But number two, how does it compare to the previous two Disney Plus Marvel shows?
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid actually. I think that it had a consistency to it that the others didn't have. I think that with WandaVision, for example, like the ending, I think it just didn't work out for us, or for a lot of folks at least. It could have been a lot better. I think with Loki, there's parts that where it was slow, and there's parts that are kind of meaningless that like are happening. But because the stakes are a bit high in terms of like the wider MCU, you're still kind of in it. You're still trying to see like what's next and what's gonna happen. And so I think that there was a consistency to it that I think WandaVision just lacked. But I think that WandaVision was more unique in terms of what they did, like that way they actually made the show, and in terms of that the acting as well, like performances were a bit better. This is just Loki being Loki, so it's not really. I also think that Sylvie's like not like the performance really didn't like. I just feel like Tom Hiddleston plays Loki so well. I feel like it was a miscast. Like they could have casted maybe someone that could have done a better performance. I was not a fan of. I just felt it was flat. Like there was nothing that made it. It wasn't really Loki. Like it wasn't.
Right. The performance of the show. Which one are you talking about? The performance of the show.
The performance.
All right. Of course, quick, I want to say to Anthony, just subscribe. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate subscribing. Samir, you actually probably agree with some of the points that Umar made, because I've definitely heard you say them to me a couple of times in private. But overall, what did you think about the show? And then, to you, is it better or worse than the previous two Disney Plus Marvel shows?
I thought it was definitely the best one out of the three. I think that's a good thing, because this one had the highest stakes. It was the most important to the whole universe, whereas WandaVision was basically fleshing out Wanda's character more, and they dropped the ball right at the end with that finale. And Winter Soldier was just about passing the shield on to Sam Wilson. So I think Loki's finale was good. I don't think Sylvie, the actress, was that bad. I think the character wasn't that likable, which I don't think she was meant to be really. She was at some points, but as a whole, she wasn't that good. Also, we're gonna talk about the scene right at the end where Loki and Loki are doing things together, which is just weird as a whole, since they're the same person in two different. They're just two versions of the same person, which is kind of weird. I think they gave her a different name instead of Lady Loki, just for it to be less weird. I know there's a character in the comics named Sylvie that looks more like the one in the show than Lady Loki does in the comics. So
yeah.
I think they're gonna.
I always I thought, it's the first few times, even the first time where Loki said that he's kind of falling for the other Loki, and then whoever, the Owen Wilson character, Morbius, right? Mobius. He said that, like you're an egomaniac, like you're falling for yourself, and that was an interesting line, because like if you think about Loki, like I guess that was Loki would be doing, which is crazy, but. And then when you look at in terms of like the romance angle, I look at Loki more as like a title than like the person. So like, for example, does Sylvie have a Thor and that nature? Like, does she have a brother Thor? I don't think they ever explained that part. So then you can make a case like in Spider-Verse, Gwen Stacy's spider character, right? Named Spider-Gwen, is the Spider-Man equivalent of her universe. And then Miles Morales also Spider-Man of his universe, but they're also kind of romantically linked. They're the same character. They're both Spider-Man, but they're both the spider equivalent, but they're not the same person.
See,
right?
I thought that too, but then right at the end, the guy, I mean, not Kang, but I forgot what they called him. The
I don't
one who
remember.
remains or something.
Yeah, he's King, but yeah,
I mean, he's like the version of Kang. He called her
He's
Loki
yeah.
also.
yeah. So
I
she's
was like,
but
oh,
Loki
so they
as a
are
title,
different.
you know. Yeah, but Loki as a title instead of Loki as a person. I don't know if that makes
Really,
sense.
that
You know.
Sylvie becomes.
For example,
the
when Natalie Portman's character in Thor: Love and Thunder, right, the movie's coming out, she's going to become Thor. Her name will become Thor, and the Thor we know, he'll go back to being Odinson, which is his like birth name. Does that make any sense? Like, so that they're treated as titles sometimes instead of just names. I don't know if that makes any sense, but okay, yeah. We have some questions about Loki. We have someone who said, when Sylvie sent Loki to the TVA when Kang was alive, Loki went to the TVA after Kang was killed. And how did Loki go to the second timeline? Right? I think the second Sylvie killed Kang, the universe already kind of got like the same time it got reset.
Unless
she
sent him to a different timeline. You know?
She sent him out after the timeline was already splitting.
Exactly. So
he went to a different timeline.
that machine cannot send you different time. Oh, it could send you different timelines, but like
that's the point of the machine.
Yeah,
I think she sent him to the different timeline on purpose because he just sat there like sulking in the room, and then finally like 10 minutes later he got up and went to like check where they were. So maybe he got sent to a different timeline.
Obviously, the big moment that for those of you who are like want to know what the moment we're talking about is when Loki looks up in the light. He talks to Mobius. Mobius doesn't recognize him because it's a new timeline now, or it's a reset timeline. And then when he looks up at the statue, it's Kang as the ruler, whatever the case might be. So, yeah, that's an interesting question. But I also think that for Samir's thing, I think, I kind of got over him. Like, whatever, it's Loki. Like, that's one of those things. Like, you just brush it as Loki. But for me, in terms of the show itself, I would agree with both Zion and Samir that Loki is better than WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I do think the last episode of Loki was by far the weakest of its own show, only because it was just exposition for an hour. Like, there was nothing really going on. Like, it was just a new character pops up and talks for 1 hour about Phase 4. So that's not really a show. That's just a trailer for Phase 4. You know, like this is a trailer for Ant-Man 3, which Kang is already confirmed to be the main villain of, or one version of him. This is a trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where obviously Doctor Strange is going to deal with this stuff. So this is like, this is setting up Spider-Man, right? Which will have multiple Spider-Man showing up, allegedly. So all that stuff being said, I thought the last episode was the weakest, but I did think the show's character writing was by far the strongest of all three shows. I think Loki, they did wonders for his character, like the main Loki. The way he was, even to be honest, he was pretty well built up to his death in Infinity War. But I think the way they kind of bridge this Loki, that now Phase 4 onwards, he's more important now than he probably ever was before. Like in terms of his role, like what he's going to do, right? So, and then there's like there's other Lokis also, like that kid Loki. There's some rumors that they want to use him in the future also for the Young Avengers. I don't know how much put stock in that rumor, but there's that as well. I have another question offside from Loki, but Marvel related. So maybe Zion or me can answer this one. But let me bring it up on the screen. Yeah. Panel, do you guys think MCU is going to build Yelena from Black Widow as a hero and not a villain? And will she be Natasha's replacement as the Avenger and not the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers? So Zion, what do you make of this one? Like, where do you see Yelena's character going forward?
I mean, I definitely agree that she would probably be led into her hero role to like take the mantle of Black Widow in the MCU. I mean, like obviously she's being set on a path to be like a Dark Avenger or whatever the Madam Hydra character is building her up to be or building her team to be. But I feel like if she shows up in like obviously the Hawkeye series, which is the most possible, once she just finds out the truth of they're both about to sacrifice each other, they want to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, and just Natasha's the one who ended up doing it. When she finds the truth about that, she won't have any reason to take revenge out on Hawkeye because it was a choice that Natasha made herself to save the universe. And from that point forward, there's no reason for her to continue trying to do evil or bad things. She could probably be like, I will take up, in her honor, I'll take up the mantle of Black Widow, and she could be just the Black Widow of the MCU from going forward. I don't think she'll be like a villain for too long. Otherwise, it kind of ruined her character and kind of like the point of her whole introduction in Black Widow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a villain for maybe one series, maybe for the Hawkeye series, and then maybe for Dark Avengers, something going on. But she's eventually, obviously, going to be the new Black Widow. I think that's kind of where they're setting up. And there's one more question about Loki, and I was switching back to it. Is Jonathan Majors a bit too old to be playing him? I don't think so. I think the way they set up Kang in this universe is so that he can just pop up a million times, and even if they beat him a million times, there'll be a million more of him. Like they're setting him up long term with the way they said there's infinite amounts of me everywhere now, and we all have different personalities, and one of them is going to be Kang the Conqueror, who's obviously one of the biggest Marvel villains, and clearly the way they're setting up right now will be the main villain of Phase 4. Like they're building up, like he's going to be the guy that all the Avengers need to show up to beat in the end somehow, because he's obviously open.
One thing I didn't like was that when they were like talking about, there's like through all like the multiverse wars or whatever, like the thing got created, which was like a eater of worlds and timelines, and it was obviously Elias or whatever. But that's like the perfect thing to like shoehorn in their version of Galactus. Like just call him Galactus, make a Galactus. Say Galactus was created through the new multiverse wars instead of like Elias from now if the multiverse war starts because they killed Kang.
Yeah, at this point, I think they're probably holding Galactus for Phase 5, Phase 6. I don't know what the overall plan of Marvel will be, but I think they want to work their way up. Kind of like how Loki was the main villain of Phase 1, kind of, right? So, like that. Okay, so
Loki also, like, now that he's back and he's doing his TVA stuff, whatever, I wonder what his role will be in, if at all, in the Thor movie. Like, is he even going to show? Are they even going to mention him? Like, probably not.
I don't think he was listed as a cast member, but it'd be nice if he showed up, but I don't think he's in the movie. But you can't really have a Thor movie without Loki mentioned, or he's at least talked about in some way. So it'd be a shame if he didn't show up. But we'll see. Did they say that was Chris Hemsworth's last movie as Thor, or he's still going to show up? I think no, they didn't say that. Okay, yeah, making sure I got my question straight. But I don't know if I know they want Natalie Portman to be the new Thor, but I don't know if what his role is going to be after it. But I guess we'll see what they do. Any last thoughts about Phase 4 or Marvel? No, nothing in the comments. I mean, we have a comment from Simon Cross saying that the DCU is dead and I don't want to hamper this movie. It actually helped that Joker didn't have to say anything up. I think I agree with the Joker thing, that I think Joker's so much better now that we know that it's just its own kind of one-shot movie and it's nothing to do with anything else. Like it's getting a little tiring in some levels, but it's tiring when it's done wrong. So the entire DCU, but when it's done right,
didn't they announce?
Yeah, rumors are, but yeah, no clear announcement from my understanding. Will Lady Thor be in season 2 of Loki? Don't know. All I know is that they did say that the person who wrote the entire series, season 1, will not be showing up in season 2, so she's not writing it again. So I don't know, for those who didn't like the writing of the show, maybe you'll be happy that maybe a new person writing it. I thought the writing was pretty good the first time around, so I think they're actually going to lose some character notes by not having her come back. But we'll see. And for Joker 2, I think it hasn't been confirmed. That's the main thing. Like, I know there's a lot of rumors about it, but there's really no clear indication that we're getting Joker 2 yet. I mean, maybe DC fandom. I don't know.
I guess one last point on Phase 4 and what they're doing. TV show series side, obviously they've come on a very high note, very strong. They're attempting new things. They're trying new stuff story-wise and taking the characters to very cool places. But as far as the films, the first one we got is Black Widow. And as we discussed already, it feels very Phase 2, middle of Phase 3. I mean, beginning of Phase 3. It's like, it feels too Marvel formulaic. That's not what you want to see anymore, especially after seeing how these shows are handling these characters and these stories. So hopefully it felt that way because it should have already come out years ago and it should have taken place way back then instead of coming out this late. And the next movie is Spider-Man, or is it Eternals? What's coming out next? Or Shang-Chi's coming out next, right?
I have no idea. Shang-Chi,
one of this coming out next.
Eternals, then Spider-Man, right?
Hopefully I feel like those will be the actual start of Phase 4 films, like where hopefully they actually reflect on how they're doing the stories in the series and really bring in that new type of, new feeling to it that Black Widow did not have. Black Widow felt more like the traditional MCU film.
I think Shang-Chi by the trailers just looks the same as every other Marvel movie. Also, like same formula, Marvel formula. But
That's what I think
is really good.
That's what things outside the Eternals. I think Zion made an overall good point then because, or I was actually there's a point that I wanted to make as well. I mean, we'll make the last one before I switch over, but it's that it seems like the creatives and more experimental and the bigger ideas are actually put on streaming, and then you're kind of more here's your Marvel movie standard fast food restaurant style Marvel movie. So your Black Widows, your Shang-Chi's, Eternals. Sorry, Samir. And then Spider-Man to even some degree, we never know how Spider-Man's going to be executed. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Marvel's better at streaming than they are at the movies, at least for now. So, or at least as far as Phase 4 is going, we'll see how things go afterwards. Why, you disagree?
It's not that I disagree. I think that with the streaming stuff, right? You're taking more risks, but the Black Widow movie, like Zion said, was supposed to come out years ago. Like it's actually one of the Phase 2 or 3 movies or whatever. So it's not really meant to be like like we can't really. I think it would be a mistake to compare it to like Loki or WandaVision, whatever, right? And I also think Shang-Chi. Anytime they're gonna introduce a solo, it's gonna be like the solo for this character. They're gonna follow their formula that they've always had in Phase 1 and 2. That's when they were doing that stuff. But I do think that Eternals and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, obviously, I think those three are gonna follow what the streaming model was because it's part of the same kind of fabric of what they're doing. So I disagree. I just think when it comes to details.
Oh yeah, no, I think the future, like the next year. I mean, Doctor Strange obviously has been is completely shot up to the top, near the top. Spider-Man's would be my top right now, even though it might be a faith that's misplaced on the movie because we don't know with Homecoming and Far From Home. We don't know how much you can trust No Way Home, but obviously if Toby and Andrew show up, it's going to be goated. But so that's one thing. But if it wasn't about Toby and Andrew, then I would say Doctor Strange is my most anticipated Marvel movie by far. Just based on number one, the multiverse. Number one, they're gonna bridge together. Like if Doctor Strange is really pulling up to the TVA and seeing Loki, and he has Wanda behind him, that'd be kind of sick. Like they're gonna be putting it together. And Sam Raimi's directing it, so like you have a director who we know is tried and true and who can like pull off a good film. Especially Spider-Man 3, Umer's favorite. So all types of things can happen. Well, it's not even a joke. You like Spider-Man 3 more than Spider-Man? No, don't say that. Is it the best Spider-Man movie or not?
How about yes, it is.
All right, there you go. So yeah, all I wanted you to have is the courage of your conviction, and you did have it.
I think Spider-Man 2. Okay, Spider-Man 2 is the best. Spider-Man 3 is second best. Spider-Man 1 is, just call it what it is.
Just call it what it is. I thought you could put an Amazing Spider-Man 1 in there.
I guess just last point on the MCU. Regardless, though, even though the following formula for the movies, or they might be from the films, from the series, and now even the video games, they're being DC and everything. Like DC just who knows what they're doing now. They've lost it. They lost all control in every aspect of the comic world. Maybe the comics themselves, DC has a slight edge now, and the games they used to with Arkham, but now the Spider-Man games are just something else. And the series, they're killing DC. They always were, even though it was just a Netflix series. And the movies now, DC is just a mess.
They're just I think it's more that they're just more disorganized. Like it's not really that they're getting hammered because of their disorganization. You know what I'm saying? Like they could actually do well. I think that Matt Reeves the Batman is gonna. I hope that Matt Reeves the Batman shows them kind of like, okay, this is where we should kind of stick. But they're not gonna be able to beat Marvel in like what's the next DC game that's coming out? It's a Batman game.
Yes, the Batman game is also the Suicide Squad game.
No, they don't have anything else.
What about the Suicide Squad game?
Stop.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not making these decisions. Someone else is making decisions. I'm just here to roast them.
You're saying the CW shows aren't better than the Disney Plus shows?
Is that what you're saying? I don't know you're a big fan of The Flash.
I've seen so many tweets that are like, oh, DC did it first with Ezra Miller showing up in the CW Flash. Like, bro, that's just giving the CW more validity, which it shouldn't have.
Listen, although there was a clip recently.
Some of those clips of the Flash on Twitter, there's like, it can't be that bad. It can't. It's like how did it get worse than it was in season 1? You know, like I don't know what's going on with that show.
No, it got worse.
Not to mention like whatever that dancing thing was. Like that's how you know you jumped the shark. It just canceled the show already. How are people watching that? You know, I don't understand.
It's for kids.
Yeah, it's for like
little kids,
tween drama. Yeah, it's not a superhero show. It's not a superhero show.
Hey, don't insult Samir's favorite lineup of shows. You're disrespecting him like that.
I'm saying.
Okay, what about the Superman and Lois orange cinematography? Okay, this is what it's all about.
I hate Joss for genuinely saying that was good. I hate Joss. Oh my god.
But I will say that your current cinematography of your room is also as orange as Superman and Lois. So there you go.
But don't worry about it. There's no lighting here, bro.
I'm just saying, man. You're putting me under the bus.
Sad? You know what's sad? The only reason Strauss said it was good is because somehow it looked like the nightmare sequence. So he was like, "Oh wow," because it somehow connects. He had to be
not
cultist.
The nightmares. Not everything's about the nightmare sequence, Umar. I know for you it is, but
the nightmare sequence is it.
Is it? I mean, Robotic Uzi has said the tweens are coming for you, Zion. Say it, Umar. Say shout out to Uzi.
Shout out to Uzi, bro. Shout out to Guzman.
Now we're just breaking the fourth wall.
Right. Shout out to Balin, bro.
Balin? Is Balin watching right now? I don't know.
Shout out to Saf, bro.
We're starting everybody out. Saf, are you watching? No, I don't know. All right, we got to stick back to where we were. And I completely lost where you even changed the topics. All right. This is it. The topic that inspired much debate. Was Space Jam a new legacy, good or bad? No, I'm not even asking what you think about it. Just if it's good or bad. Wait. Before one second. Someone in the comments said, "Can you please read my comments about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Moon Knight?" Let me just see what I missed because I'm definitely missed something. Do you think the MCU is going to do it in reverse by debuting Werewolf by Night and the Moon Knight show on Disney Plus? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the context was of our conversation, so I've completely lost this one. Sorry.
I'm not sure what you mean by reverse. Reverse of what exactly though?
Yeah, you gotta expound on that one, buddy. But do you think a young Apocalypse makes a cameo on Eternals? Samir, you love Eternals, so do you think Apocalypse will show up like from X-Men?
Maybe they could definitely put Thanos in there somewhere, like a young Thanos.
Thanos. I think
the Eternals look sick. I don't know what you're talking about. I've said it since day one.
It looks fine. No, it's
so
better. It looks better than the average Marvel movie.
Listen, they said they're putting this kind of like Bollywood dance number. Like they already know that's gonna be bad.
Bro,
it's true.
Bro, you love
it
that.
Sounds
bro.
so bad. That part sounds so bad.
Favorite, bro.
It sounds so cringe. I know I'm cringing the whole time. And there's another very similar cringe scene in Space Jam.
Why are you disrespecting everything Umar loves?
All right, Umar. Well, we're all crying except for you. All right, but Scott, I appreciate saying my family enjoyed it, but you didn't say if you enjoyed it, and that's what we're kind of getting at here. You know, of course, the family might enjoy it, but did we enjoy it, or did you enjoy it?
I think his answer is in the statement. Like he didn't mention himself, so clearly he did not enjoy it. But honestly, it's supposed to be watched as a family. It's a family movie, and it's a family lesson. You know, so like I'm glad that they actually liked it because a lot of people didn't.
Well, let's see if a lot of people are in this panel right now. Who am I going to start with? Who am I going to pick on? Samir, what did you think about Space Jam: A New Legacy? And is it good or bad?
Well, it wasn't good. You know what? It was pretty mid overall. I mean, it's a kids movie. It's really just for the kids to see all of their favorite characters showing up in this movie, in this Looney Tunes movie with LeBron playing basketball against Don Cheadle. So it was what it was. I'd give it like a 2.5 out of 5. 2 maybe. 2 out of 5.
All right, 1 second. Let me throw a comment that someone super chatted us. So appreciate the $5. Well, I'm sitting at 50,000 share of AT&T. 50,000 share of Discovery. How are we gonna approach this DC reboot in a few years? I mean, number one, let's toss some shares around. Like that's the first thing, you know. Number two, The question, I know the real question is, how would, if you had that many shares and you could actually control the future of both these companies, how would you reboot the DCEU? I'll do this because you're actually running a little early, so we'll do this question first, then we'll go into Space Jam. Umar, if you could reboot the DCEU today, what would you do to it?
I wouldn't reboot. I'd just take a few steps backwards and just destroy the Snyderverse. That's it.
All right. Samir, if you could reboot the DCEU right now, what would you do to it?
I don't know. Okay,
so this is what I do. This is what I do.
I would make it the main.
That's the worst idea. I would wipe CW universe like from the face of the earth. All right, like I'll pretend never even happened. I'd go back in time with those shares. I'd make enough money to go back in time and stop CW from happening. No, but actually, in actuality, they have something good going here with like their different types of universe. So you have like the current DCEU that's like Shazam, Aquaman, and all those movies, whatever. And you have the Snyderverse, which is Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and then Disaster Justice League. Then you have Matt Reeves, the Batman, and then you have like you can have streaming shows, HBO Max. I feel like keeping different separate universes is the right way to go for DC. There's at the point that right now, there's no way they can restart fresh and then catch up to what MCU is doing with their gigantic Nexus universe or whatever. They can't do that anymore. It's too late for them. So what they should do is keep with their separate universes. You continue the Snyderverse either on films also or direct to streaming and make it for an older audience. Then you continue whatever they're going on right now. Who knows what they're doing? But then you let them test what they have to, then see what sticks. You throw anything on the wall, whatever sticks, you move forward that. And then you do like the solo standalone high feature films like Joker and the Batman. You have those separate projects and you just put everything out there. I think that's the only way for DC to actually thrive in a world where MCU is king.
Thank you for your very well detailed answer on this one, Jan. I'm not even going to give my answer anymore. But the reason we were laughing, the reason I was laughing, and we only laughed once, and now I'm going to switch the topic right away. All right, is that our boy Blonde jumped in with what's good. So we have there's a cameo there. Yeah, there's a cameo there.
Answer, Shaz. You have to give your answer. I want to hear it.
My answer for what? The DCU reboot? Oh, okay.
His answer is the same as mine.
The easy answer is restore the Snyderverse, but that's a cop out. So if I had to build my own universe from scratch, I would start with the Batman. I would tell Matt Reeves, listen, you're kicking off a new universe. It's too bad.
That's already a bad idea. That's already a bad idea.
I listen. Maybe we got to make do what we have. Okay, so we reboot it. We reboot Superman at the same time. You can use Black Superman. You have to. It doesn't matter. I'm saying with the pieces you have there, and then you combine those two universes, and then just see where you go from there. I think you will eventually. I think Gal is done with Wonder Woman after Wonder Woman 3, so she's done. You get a new Wonder Woman in at some point, or you can go with Nubia, whatever you want to do. So you have a new Trinity then, and what do you guys got to do? You got to then put a Green Lantern show, Green Lantern movie. That's it. You just build it. I don't know. There's not much to say about it. But yeah, Scott did answer saying he did enjoy Space Jam, so I appreciate that, Scott, because I'm going to be going with it. Also, did co-sign Umar to restore the Snyderverse, which we all wanted to say, but only Umar had the guts to say it.
Right.
And also, yeah, we have a lot of agreements that bring Zach back and let's finish what he wants. So, Samir, you're the only one who wants to, like, I don't know, what'd you say? Bring the CW back and make it the main universe?
Main universe.
Yeah, the main universe.
The most DC content right now is the CW universe.
Yes, but you can also whatever. I don't have a good enough analogy.
Exactly.
I can buy a lot of burgers from McDonald's with like $10, right? But I can also go get a nice burger.
CW is not McDonald's because the MCU is McDonald's. CW is like Arby's or something. Like you avoid it at all costs.
The person who likes Arby's in the chat, and then what?
Umar loves Arby's. Why are you disrespecting Umar so much?
CW's hella whack. All right, but we're at Space Jam, so let's see.
Let me just jump into Space Jam. Let me jump to Space Jam. Okay?
Joss Rice League. Oh, don't respect Arby. There you go.
All right, let me jump into Space Jam because it obviously I thought it'd be pretty bad from the trailers because the trailers, even to this day after watching the movie, the trailers are still pretty bad. Like they paint a bad movie, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. And obviously it has issues, but it is obviously it's for kids. It's made for families. And unlike the original Space Jam, which was more ambiguous, like anybody can watch it, this is clearly tailored and intended for a family audience to watch together. You know, it's like a nice lesson between a parent and child, and like let them be who they are, let them grow up to be, and like focus on what they want and what they like, you know, and grow their strengths, and not, you know, project yourself onto them. At the end of the day, okay, I get the message. That's a good message. And Charles also said that, you know, there is no lesson, there's no theme of the original Space Jam, and there isn't. Like, they're not trying to teach you, they're not trying to tell you any lesson. It's just Michael Jordan playing with Bugs Bunny in basketball, and like Newman from Seinfeld is doing stuff too. But if you like divide the film into categories, I'd say all the live action or real life portions of the original Space Jam are much better than the live action portions of this one. And the stuff where they're in like Looney Tunes or Toon World or whatever, in the original Space Jam, they're like, they knock you out, they put you to sleep. But this, they're like, okay, because it was fun seeing like the different worlds and different universes. And so I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it wasn't a bad movie either, you know. But above that, on top of all of that, it's still better than Wonder Woman 1984. I can say that honestly with a straight face. It is better than Wonder Woman 1984.
I don't know. I would say Space Jam: A New Legacy is better than Wonder Woman 84 and Shazam and Aquaman.
It's not really Shazam. It's only better than Wonder Woman 1984. That's like I think it's worse than Suicide Squad.
All right. Before I give my opinion, Rodrigo, I'm seeing Suicide Squad next week, so I'll let you know my opinion. But for Space Jam, first of all, there's like a meta joke in here that I think only we're gonna appreciate, and then the audience is gonna fly over their heads. But there's a point in the movie where Don Cheadle, who's the algorithm, is showing LeBron this pitch that join Warner Brothers, and look what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you in all these Warner Brothers movies like Harry Potter and The Matrix and etc. Right? And LeBron looks at them and says, "This is a top 5 worst idea I've ever seen." But the audience, real us, are forced to watch the movie anyways. We're forced to watch the idea that LeBron said was shit. So we have to watch that. And then we're seeing LeBron in Game of Thrones and all that. That's exactly what they said was a bad idea. Now, the meta portion of that, which is like for people who like taking a shot at Warner Brothers, because the two people played by Sarah Silverman and the other guy, they were like, isn't this a great idea? The algorithm made it for us. And the second LeBron said it was bad, they're like, oh, yes, the worst idea, worst idea. And that sounds very much like the reactionary studio they always are in real life, too. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, so there you go. I connected it to the Snyder Cut somehow.
You found a way. I
I was thinking for 3 days, how am I going to catch the Snyderverse? And I did it. All right, so Umar, what did you think about the movie?
I think LeBron James had a line in the movie that explained his performance best when he said that basketball players aren't actors, like they're just not. And so I think that he kind of suffered a bit. He had a lot of lines that maybe he shouldn't have had, and he tried to even cry at some points, and it's like the tears didn't come out. It was so bad. And then I think there's some things that we could say that weren't too bad. Like the visuals are nice. It was all right. Like the visuals aren't bad. I think Ernie did a good job. You know, Ernie Johnson was in the movie.
He was the best actor.
Shout out to Ernie.
He was the best actor, it's true.
And then, I mean, the LG, that was a stupid idea, honestly. It didn't make sense, like, a lot level.
It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It's Lee Space Jam. Yeah, this Swank Hammer made so much sense in the first movie. You want to build a theme park.
Let me tell you something. This movie's getting a hard pass because of the fact that it's a kids movie and whatnot. I know a movie about penguins surfing, all right, and they did a better job. Job.
And Toy Story's better written. We all know this. We're not comparing.
Yeah,
we're not comparing.
All I'm saying is the writing was so cringe, like that. Like it wasn't good. Like it messed everything else up.
Yeah, let me jump before Samir says something. On LeBron's acting, I'm telling you, yeah, he's right. He is such a bad actor. Obviously, he's not an actor, but the performance was so bad. He's such a bad actor. Like everything was horrible. And the difference, but you gotta give him credit. I'm gonna give him credit over Jordan because Jordan wasn't acting; he was just being himself. Like Jordan was himself in the entire movie, but LeBron was actually trying to act. So I'm gonna give him credit for trying, but the performance was so bad. Like all of his line deliveries and everything was just so bad. It was hilariously bad.
Let me share a story. Okay, there's some actors, right? There's some actors. I'm not saying LeBron's an actor. There's some actors who are there for their looks, but not for their acting chops, right? There's some actors who can play a part.
Are you talking about Henry Cavill?
Yes,
It's Henry Cavill.
Man of Steel 2.
I'm talking about Henry Cavill, okay? Am I saying LeBron's a better actor than Henry Cavill? Just by a little bit, but not by a lot. But the main point I'm making is that, you give some actors less lines because they look better in their role when they're not talking, right? Jordan is like that. Okay?
I think we might have to count because LeBron in this movie might have had more total lines than Henry Cavill in all the Superman roles so far.
No, of course. But that's just a fact, a given. But what I'm saying about who's a better actor is also not a given. But I'm making a bigger point here. I'm making a point that maybe if LeBron talked less in this movie, it would have been a little better. And if he's just there as like this basketball player or father who's looking for his son, you can put that. And when he plays basketball, he can do all his shenanigans. But the acting, he's saying LeBron is still acting all off the court. But yeah, so I think that LeBron could have benefited from some less lines. Did LeBron do a better job than Jordan? Yes. And then quickly shout out to the Farooqi sisters. And then number two, Jordan. But Jordan is bad, so LeBron is better than Jordan every way, including acting. That's my opinion.
You're the worst.
If Jordan tried to do what LeBron was doing in this movie, he wouldn't be able to. Like he has no range. At least LeBron, as bad as he is, he has range.
Obviously, they based LeBron's kids in this movie to his real kids. He has that his second son is also like into video games and is a streamer, so that's kind of the base. And the first son is the one who's very much like him, wants to be a basketball player. So they did base like somewhat in reality, but is just fine. Like I think the first act was okay to bad. The second act was okay, just okay, and the third act was pretty good. I liked the basketball game way more than I did Space Jam 1, and I love Space Jam 1.
Me and Charles watched the first half of the first Space Jam, and I'm telling you, it was so much better than you.
I will admit, me and Samir sitting at 3 a.m. Watching Space Jam for like the first half of it, and we're just laughing at everything. And while Zion and Umar, they were just knocked out from the movie or just be knocked out.
Yeah, but see, I agree because I said everything from right before he gets into like the Looney Tunes world, he gets like sucked into it, is an A movie. But then once he's in Looney Tunes, it's an F. So he obviously had to C. It's a C movie, But this, it's like it's a C and then like a B. So like average like B minus. The best part of the movie was the best part of the movie was the middle where they're going to the different like worlds and stuff. But every single one of those scenes is already online. Like the movie marketed its own movie by putting every single one of those cameos online. So I found that pretty dumb.
I think Space Jam. Yeah, I think they could have stayed there too, but they didn't stay. I think Space Jam 1 and 2 are better than a lot of movies. All right, Samir, what's better, Space Jam: A New Legacy or Zack Snyder's Justice League? Drop the hot take.
Well, I'd have to say Space Jam, bro. Did you even see the Looney Tunes scenes? They put Big Chungus in the movie. What more do you want?
But you're saying it's better than Justice League.
Of course.
He thinks everything's better.
Don't even need to say.
All right, so, Umar, what's better? I don't know, Umar, what's better? The first Suicide Squad 2016 or Space Jam: A New Legacy?
Space Jam.
What's better, Wonder Woman 1984 or Space Jam: A New Legacy?
See, this is a tough one, but obviously, if
this one requires the least,
Squad, then obviously Space Jam's better.
So suddenly it's not that bad.
I don't remember what's better, Aquaman 2 or the Space Jam poster?
The Space Jam poster.
I hate you.
Aquaman 1, let me just say, like, round outside. I watched some clips the other day on YouTube, just like, doing my thing, surfing YouTube. It was bad. Bad.
Now we're just going to hot take.
I can be honest, like, the acting, like, even Gal Gadot's acting in Wonder Woman 1984, it was almost worse than LeBron. Like, it was worse than LeBron's Space Jam.
Listen, I'm telling you, LeBron
was so wooden, and the writing in Wonder Woman 1984,
it's the worst.
Was worse than Space Jam: New Legacy. Like,
it's
literally worse. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So bad, and I don't know why we said it was good. Like, we're desperate for any DC content, so we thought it was good, but really, like, it aged worse than who knows what. It aged worse than milk.
All right, shut up and let me tell you the truth right now, okay? The truth. You want to hear the truth? You can't handle the truth, but the truth is that LeBron is probably a better actor than a few of the DCEU actors. Okay, that's just all I'm saying. Two of them. I can think of two that LeBron did a better performance than.
Which two?
I think LeBron was a better actor than Gala was from the second movie. I think LeBron's better than Cavill was in probably both Justice Leagues. But yeah, the first one for sure. But and then what's my next? What's another one? Yeah, that's oh yeah, and it's way more believable to me that LeBron is searching for his son in the internet world and going through random movies and then seeing Michael B. Jordan. That's all more believable to me. And Granny drinking a martini, all that's more believable to me than a terrorist shooting his guns, asking for nuclear weapons, and then because Wonder Woman asked nicely, he said, I would have put it away. Okay? One has more believable writing.
It can't be that bad.
Only a little bit.
No, I hate that movie. I hate Wonder Woman 1984. It's like even somebody put me on gunpoint and told me to watch it, I'd be like, just kill me, you know? Like I can't watch that anymore. I can never watch that again.
We're gonna get demonetized literally. Scott is saying there's a lot of hot takes happening, and I agree. Robotic, this one I'm gonna bring up the comment again. WB plus LeBron, what would you expect them together? You're on Uzi's on a roll today, I'm telling you. I'm just surprised to be on a
Well,
your Wi-Fi is worse than mine today, Sean.
I know it is. It's bad. All right. Okay. We're on hot takes, so I'm going to put some more hot takes. And this is for everyone chat to answer with 27 with about 4 minutes left, right? So first, let me move the banner so we're done with this. Is the Kool-Aid Man the jar or the liquid?
All right, let me ask you really quickly. Family already answers because in a scene where he walks into the courtroom, right, and he's walking back, his thing breaks, but the glass thing breaks, but he's still the liquid. He's talking, he's doing stuff. So it is the liquid. The liquid is the Kool-Aid Man, not the jar.
Correct.
All right. Thanks for using Family Guy as a first source for this, but that's not.
What other source is there? What other source is? What other medium used this character in any way?
No. Family Guy is not a source. It's like using Wikipedia. All right, Umar, give me an existential answer: the jar or the liquid?
It's obviously the liquid because it's like the soul. You know what I'm saying? The jar is just the external thing. Don't make me start talking about Greek philosophy right now.
All right, actually, that's a pretty damn good answer. But yeah, the liquid is the soul. I think also, the jar is the body, but they need each other to survive.
Well,
I've never seen liquid on its own except once.
Listen, but the Kool-Aid Man, the liquid is the Kool-Aid, so he has to be the liquid.
Because you can pour the liquid into a cup, it's still the Kool-Aid Man. You understand?
But would he grow arms?
No, he wouldn't.
He would just be a man in a.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Kool-Aid has to be able to grow hands for it.
Samir, what's your answer, Brib? Just tell us.
We can make a movie on this. I'm gonna say the liquid because that's what the Kool-Aid part is. He's the Kool-Aid Man.
We all said he's liquid then. What did you say? The jar?
I'm the first one to say liquid.
All right, yeah, liquid. All right, so that was easy, and literally no one in the comments even care. So let's go to the second one, which will make more debates. You can only keep 3, okay? But instead, we're not even going to follow it. Just choose your favorite and your least favorite. Who wants to go first?
What the hell's the first one?
I don't know. Just a Twinkie, bro.
It's a Twinkie,
First one's the Twinkie.
The second one's
the most overrated one is the rainbow cookie. Not the rainbow, the rainbow brownie. Beyond overrated.
Isn't that called cosmic brownie? Or am I
yeah, cosmic brownie. Yeah, cosmic brownie.
I haven't had
that would have been my third choice.
The best one is the Swiss roll, number 2. The worst one is number 9 because I can't tell what it is.
No, what even is number 6?
I said number 9's the worst, and Scott's right here saying it's his favorite. Scott, what is it? What is number 9? Explain it to me. It's like a Kit Kat?
No, it's not a Kit Kat.
It looks like a wafer type thing.
It's like a cake type thing.
A cake? No, it's not a cake. It looks like a Butterfinger.
Yeah, I've had that before, bro.
It's like a chocolate wafer.
Not a wafer.
You guys had 4?
Actually, no. I don't know what 6. Yeah, I've had 4. It's not bad.
I don't know what 6
is. 4 is actually pretty good.
9 is a nutty bar, bro. I've never had it, and I
don't think they even sell that here.
Bar.
I've never heard of it, bro.
9 is probably the worst, or 7.
I don't know what 6 is, but I'm not.
Yeah, I've never heard of 6.
I've had 6. 6 is good.
Asmina is saying that 2 is the best, 6 is the worst.
What are you calling them for?
We're making a joke, man. Right? It's an inside joke.
Samir's gone. Samir's a goner.
2 is the best one.
Yeah, but let me see. What did Fatima say? Oh, 2 is the worst.
7. 2 is
9 is a wafer. What's 7? 7 is like a cupcake, isn't it?
7 is pretty good. 7's like
7 is pretty good. Yeah, it's like a cupcake with like white filling inside of it, like cream inside of it.
My third
this
choice
is
would
6 is a chocolate rice cake. That sounds so bad.
That sounds like
sounds
torture.
terrible.
That sounds like
That sounds
torture.
terrible.
All right, 2, 5, and
What
7
the
are
hell
the best
is 8?
ones. Can we agree?
2, 7,
Number 7
and
is zebra cake. I know what a
my
zebra
hot
cake is,
take
yeah.
is that this
No, number
third-
5 is zebra cake. Number 5
my
is
hot
zebra
take
cake.
is
That's
that
7.
the synthetic brownie, the third one, is pretty good, bro. It's pretty solid.
It's synthetic. Hey, look, someone just joined saying that I thought this was the Flash, and I came to see a bunch of food on my screen.
We decided that the Flash was such a mess, behind the scenes mess, that we talk about something a little more, let's see, consistent.
Yeah, a little more interesting. Yeah, a little more interesting than the Flash. The worst one is 6, because if it's this, like a chocolate rice cake, then that sounds really bad.
What's worse before that? Since you never had that.
Is 8 a honey bun?
Yeah, it looks like honey.
Yeah, it is.
Honey bun isn't that bad, honestly. Honestly, yeah, it would be 6 is the worst and 9 is the second worst. Sorry, Scott. Those are the 2 worst. The 2 best are the Swiss rolls, number 2, and then zebra cake. If it's like in the freezer and it's cold, is not bad. Otherwise, maybe 4. With oatmeal cookie or something. Oatmeal cream pie. Thank you.
Yeah, almond cream pie. That's like classic. I wouldn't choose above the others. I wouldn't choose above like 2, 5, and 7 are like the golden ones. And 3, I don't know. Samir's like 3. It's like after you eat one half of it, you know how bad it is already. So you could never finish the whole thing.
No. You either
As a kid, it was good, but now it's like
I put it
with some
Twinkie
vanilla
over
ice
zebra
cream, it's
cake.
good. With some vanilla ice cream, it's good.
I put Twinkie over zebra cake.
I actually like 4 a lot.
Twinkie. No, Twinkies are overrated. 4.
You're
Yeah, I
fine.
mean you're a boomer, so of course you like 4. Twinkies are bad. 8 is a
What?
honey bun. That's what I said. Yeah. 3 is the best cosmic brownies. Yes, I knew it was called cosmic brownies,
I've been saying.
but 3 is not. No, it's not bad. If it's cold. All of these are shit if they're hot. So they have to be completely like.
You don't
ice.
want
No.
Twinkie?
a honey bun that's hot is not that bad. Like
No,
you can have it
honey bun
warm.
hot is so gross. That's so
What the hell are you talking about? It's better
Nah,
Any
yeah,
of these
John's
hot
right.
are bad.
John's right on this one, yo.
Nah.
because you
Here's
have
the
a
green
hot.
That's why
Now, if it's hot, then you pull ice cream on top, vanilla ice cream. You got it.
They're not all nasty. Twinkies. So we have people who don't like Twinkies. A lot of people are against
What?
Twinkies.
I don't think I've ever had a Twinkie.
you wouldn't.
You cannot hurt a Twinkie. Interesting. Here we go. This is a timeless. Like no matter where you are in the world, I like to put my zebra cakes in the refrigerator, not the freezer. But yeah, you got to have them cold. Twinkies are horrible. I try them to see the American hype, and they're not good. Sorry, Samir, you've been completely shut down by everyone. I think Twinkies are just average, to be honest. Average.
Well, I
I
put
thought
them
it was a
fourth,
chicken
so-
nugget, honestly.
What?
What was your worst one? What was the one that was worst for you? 6.
Probably 9 or 6, yeah.
All right, so I think we're all agreeing 9 is the worst. Sorry, again.
Now,
Sorry.
6 is the worst by far. It's not even close. 6 is the worst.
6. I don't even know what it is still.
Like I would try 9. I would never try 6.
I think they're all kind of.
I wouldn't try
Average.
9 or 6 ever.
Omar, they're all. I mean, they're okay. I mean, so I guess that's whatever. that's about all we have for today's show. Did we ever give our scores for Space Jam? Do you want to do that really quickly?
I gave it a 2.5.
2.5. What about you, Zion?
I'd say 3, I guess.
Omar?
If 1984 is 2.5, and this is 3.
1985 is like a 1.
Omar, what did you give Space Jam?
I would give it a 2.5.
Le narrative. Think about it again. Tell me the answer.
Narrative.
Le narrative. Legacy on the line. You left. Okay, so Samir, what for le narrative? Umar, for le narrative reasons, what would you pick? The narrative, Umar.
Yeah, of course. Then it'd be a 5. What are you talking about?
Now we're talking.
And
Right.
and also, it's better than Space Jam 1. I didn't really get a chance to finish my whole
It is.
spiel on Space Jam.
No. We're not too much the narrative. But
Anything that LeBron does, and anything whatever that
That's
is,
enough.
and when it gets compared to Michael Jordan, it's automatically better. Automatically, including basketball.
I gave it a 3.5. I originally gave it a 4. I put it down by 0.5, right? And that's also because of the narrative, right? But it's fine. It's right. And we have a bunch of other responses on the chocolate show one last time, and then we're out of here, literally. But 6 called a Star Crunch. Thank you, Alice, for finally telling us what this was. All we had was Robotic Uzi's opinion. So a Star Crunch. Anyone?
I don't think they sell that here either.
I got the manager in the house, yo.
Who's the manager?
I got Harris in the house.
You got Harris? All right, you're keeping it easy though. Harris, you gotta keep it easy if you can answer.
Harris, what's your
And make sure his shirt is fully buttoned.
He can hear.
Harris, we're live, Harris. Okay, listen. There's 9 of these chocolates, right? What is the answer? And remember, keep it PG.
What is it?
What's the best out of all these?
Oh, it's the best out of since when I was a kid. I think number 2.
All right. So I agree, Horace. It was number 2. I agree.
The right answer.
All right. Good job. All right. Thank you for your opinion on this one.
Yeah, don't put that in live, man.
We're on live.
Dude, we're live right now. Relax.
We're mute. All right. So we're live, Horace. Too bad. All right. So yeah. Umar is a fan of receding hairlines, maybe. Scott said we're all canceled. I appreciate that.
Scott, to be fair, I don't think we have Nutty Bar here or whatever that is. They don't even offer that here in Rite Aid or any kind of convenience store.
I've never heard of it.
Same as Star Crunch. They don't offer that here either.
All I know is right now Rotten Tomatoes has Space Jam at 31%, which is 3% lower than LeBron's career 3-point percentage. So that's pretty good. Is it good? No, that's pretty bad.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, can't even hear you.
It's all for me. If we're going around tomatoes, then it's better than BVS because it's higher score. So don't tell me about these scores, right? 31, 27, whatever, man. Safia came through with saying it's 3. What was 3 again? Cosmic brownie.
Synthetic brownie. So literally brownie. It's whatever they made that Krabby O Mondays from.
Krabby O Mondays. All right, we're done. I mean, Gaz, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I can't even answer it.
What? This is how you know it's time to end the stream.
All right. So this is our first stream back in a while, so we're just getting kind of our wings under us again, and we're gonna start chaining these together.
I'm trying to explain it, Charles. I hate when Charles starts
Why can't I explain
things down.
You don't want me to break it down?
Let it happen.
We need this.
Right.
We need this right now.
We need to explain it for the audience so they can build a connections that come back next week at the same time. Do you understand? This is how we do it. Mr. Marketing Editor.
You made him explain why he's explaining. You made him explain why he's explaining them.
Yeah, I fell into that trap.
Yeah. That's how you open Pandora's box. When one person explains, everyone's going to explain. But either way, we appreciate you guys jumping on. Let us know in the comments what you thought about what were our topics today, about the Flash set leaks, about Loki's season finale, and if you thought Space Jam was good or bad. This is by far the most important topic, as you can tell. So let us know what you think in the comments. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi brothers, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.